Now, I've been getting this question a lot. I'm an Amazon seller outside of the North American market. How can I get into the American market and what things I need to consider? If you're a foreign seller trying to sell in a different continent or a different Amazon marketplace, this video is for you because I'm going to go over the most important things you need to consider when you're trying to get into a foreign market. And it's absolutely crucial. You have to make sure that you have done all your due diligence in order to make sure that your product doesn't get blocked, that Amazon doesn't penalize you, that the country, the taxes and everything. So we're gonna go through every single point step by step to learn what it takes to actually start an Amazon business in a foreign market, okay? So let's get started. The first point is to choose your product wisely. Now, people in different continents, in different parts of the world, deal with products differently. Now, something that is popular in North America may not be popular in India or China or what have you, or in Europe, right? So you gotta understand the market and you gotta choose your product wisely. That's why it's important to actually find a tool that will help you research product in different marketplaces. Because wherever you're selling, especially North America, let's say, because that's where a lot of the sellers wanna sell. You have to do research to see what kind of things affect product choice. What kind of product? Let's say you're trying to sell a notebook, for example, right? A simple thing. What colors people tend to levitate towards? Like, I can tell you from experience because I've lived in India, like if you are choosing a product or a notebook in India, I know they're a lot more about color than they are here. Here, people are more about grays, blacks, whites, more subtle colors. But when you're in India, color is everything. So that's why it is important to choose your product wisely and understand that there is a demand in the marketplace for your product. You don't want to sell something that has a high demand in North America and think that it has a high demand anywhere else in the world. That is absolutely a misconception. So you always want to make sure that there is demand for that product, and that's how you'll succeed with your product research. The second point is to develop a branding strategy. Now, a lot of times people tend to do is hire different agencies to work on their branding for them. But since you're starting out, if you're starting out, right, the funds are very limited. So you never want to have to spend a lot of money on that, but you need to do your research. So you got to develop a strategy. What kind of packaging goes well with the marketplace? Like, I'll give you guys an example. Like in China, as you guys know, number is a big deal. So there are certain things you don't want to mention on your packaging, certain numbers. I believe it's 9s and 5s and stuff like that. So always, because they actually will not buy your product if it actually lists that number. The reason is that side of the world is a little bit superstitious about numbers. So you always want to create a branding strategy that caters to that market. Just like your product research, you want to create a branding strategy that actually is successful in that markets, and part of that is doing your research. What kind of color for your packaging, what kind of packaging you're going to use, what sizes, all these things play a big part in what kind of branding you're going to do. So, and even to the point of like actually doing the manual for your product, how to use this product, or the directions or whatever, what have you, that you're putting in your product. You want to make sure it's branded to that market in that language, because English, yeah, I understand, is a language, it's a universal language, but most of the time these packages go to, like, let's say if you're selling outside of United States or Canada or even Europe, right? You want it to be in that language. You want to personalize it as much as possible as far as your branding goes. The third point is to get familiar with the regulations, specifically with the tax regulations of that country or continent, because you don't want to end up in pickle with the government there, because they will ban you as a seller. Wherever you're selling, you know that you'll be paying taxes based on that region. So get familiarized with the regulations. See what kind of things you can do, what kind of things you can't do. There's a lot of things that you can do in North America that you can't do anywhere else, and vice versa. So the tax regulations, the percentages, and all that is very important when you're trying to launch a product in a different market. The fourth point is think about your logistics, okay? So if you're selling in a place like North America or United States, and you know the tariffs that have been happening, the tariff war that has been happening between China and the United States, and you're bringing a product from China, right? you got to think about how much duties you have to pay when you actually bring the product into an Amazon FBA warehouse in North America. Maybe it makes sense to find a US supplier. So you got to do your cost analysis and think about how much does it cost for you to bring this product overseas. So think about this. If you're selling in India and you're manufacturing a product in China, right? It's a different logistics process. To find out whether air is going to be perfect for your product, whether ocean is going to be perfect. Now, I highly suggest that if you're starting out, to do some air shipments so you can get a little bit of inventory in, start selling, and then the rest of your products to come by ocean, the majority or the bulk of it, because ocean is a bit cheaper and you can do bulk shipments, but air is limited and is a little bit more pricey. And depending on how bulky your product is, if they are huge items, then you can't really do air because you're limited by size and weight and dimensions and stuff like that when it comes to air. But with ocean, you can actually do a full container if you wanted to. So always think about your logistics, whether you're going to use a freight forwarder or not. If you use a freight forwarder, how much does it cost you extra as opposed to using the freight forwarder from your supplier? So always do a cost analysis because freight can actually eat away a lot of your profits. Now, I've had issues where I brought products, it got stuck at customs because it wasn't cleared, my customs broker was not doing their job properly. I had to pay penalties because I had to pay something called demurrage. Demurrage is basically like they're storing your product, it's kind of in limbo, it's trying to come into Canada, but it's not being allowed yet, so therefore you're paying storage fees. So storage fees can be really high when it comes to if you don't know what to do and when it comes to like large shipments, because they will give you like 48 hours for free, but after that they're charging you. So make sure you think about your logistics at every step of the way. The next point is to create an amazing and awesome listing. From your SEO, search engine optimization, to the description, to your pictures, to the basically everything that you can do with your listing. Make sure it's absolutely top notch. The copywriting is perfectly done. It's marketable. It's search engine optimized, meaning it's using, let's say, the top 100 words that I've shown you guys many times how to do. Make sure you're using specific keywords, very important, especially in a different market where the keywords could be completely different than what it is in North America or anywhere else. So doing or creating an absolutely amazing listing is your first opportunity in front of a buyer, and if they don't like your listing, if they don't like your pictures, it does not bring legitimacy to your listing. And of course, getting those initial reviews is absolutely important when you're trying to break into a market. So actually doing giveaways and stuff like that can give you a great number of reviews. Get some unverified, get verified. So 5 unverified, 5 verified will create enough social proof for you guys to really get your business going. The sixth point is managing your payments. Now, choose a provider, a payment provider or agency in that country that can easily convert currencies for you. So if you're selling in India or Europe, make sure that the conversion is done seamlessly to your account. And I understand, like in North America, if you're selling in North America and you live in North America, you understand the process. But if you're selling in Europe or India and you live in North America, you got to understand how the payment process works there. So managing that is really important to make sure that there are no delays into your cash flow, because cash flow is the core of any business. If you don't get your money on time and you can't order products in order to supplement your inventory, right, your business is going to go down. So cash flow is absolutely important, so make sure you choose wisely when it comes to a payment process or an agency. And along the lines, the last point is to select a local agency to do your PPC campaigns. Reason being that we want to make sure that we know what kind of keywords are used in that language, in that market, and there's nothing better than an agency that understands that market. Initially, yes, you will pay a little bit of money, but this is going to help you guys in the long run to really build a database of keywords that you can use for your next product and the different ones. So it's absolutely important when you're doing your PPC campaigns, because PPC is basically solely dependent on the keywords and description that you use. So using the right one in the right market will help propel your product to page 1. Okay guys, these are the 7 most important points when you're trying to break into a foreign market and the things to consider to make sure you have a seamless product launch and a successful Amazon FBA business. Thank you so much guys for watching. Subscribe. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any specific questions about this video, drop it in the comments below, or any other thing about Amazon FBA, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.